I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask our deputy clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Martinez,
Present.
Trustee Kagan,
Present.
Trustee Angeles,
Present.
Trustee Krusek,
Present.
Trustee Page,
Present.
Mayor Cunningham,
Present.
quorum established.
Thank you very much. And as, again, if those of you that were here earlier for our study session, but now are here this evening for our second meeting. As a preliminary matter, we do have a trustee, Trustee Blair, who is unavailable to attend in person this evening because of an illness. We do have a quorum, and we would like to have and ask our fellow board members to please allow Trustee Blair to remotely attend the meeting. So I'm going to ask for a motion to allow remote attendance for Trustee Blair, please. A motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Martinez, and a second, Trustee Page. Thank you very much.
Second.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask now, all those in favor, please sign aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Trustee Blair, are you able to hear us
Present.
okay?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for being here. And we do appreciate that very much. So this evening, again, we thank everyone for being here. We are going to ask everyone just to maybe join us with a moment of silence, but I'm going to ask that we dedicate tonight's meeting on behalf of a gentleman who we met right at the time when the June 20th, 2021 tornado hit Woodridge. Through the American Red Cross, we were partnered with some wonderful disaster recovery groups, organizations, one being the St. Vincent de Paul Society. And this is a COAD and VOAD, and these are people that are dedicated to help communities and neighbors that are hit and impacted by disasters, natural disasters. One of the gentlemen that led the St. Vincent de Paul Society's outstanding works here in Woodridge is a gentleman by the name of Joseph Bukovich. Joe is really an expert in disaster recovery. He has been a guiding light since day one, and unfortunately, we had the sad news that Joe passed this week. You know, and I want to, even though we usually dedicate to our neighbors here in Woodridge, I think this is important for us to dedicate this meeting in his honor. He has helped us bring home so many families throughout our community and has made a significant difference to all of us, helped us create the Woodridge Neighbors Helping Neighbors Disaster Recovery and all of their works, all of the training for all of the case managers, just a very dedicated gentleman that truly went above and beyond to help us make a difference in our community. So if you would join me, please, in dedicating tonight's meeting in his honor. And we think of him and his family and friends and neighbors, and we send them our condolences. And it's with a grateful heart that we dedicate tonight's meeting in his honor. So if you would please join me in a moment of silence. I thank you all very much. Now, if you would please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which I would ask all of you, our neighbors that are here this evening, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Aye. Tonight, under special awards and presentations, we do have a wonderful recognition, and I see our chief is coming up. This is regarding our Employee of the Year, and we are very excited, Chief, and I'm going to let you take it from here.
Thank you, Mayor. And Mayor, Board of Trustees, it gives me great honor tonight to present Erin Lamantia to you as the Village of Woodridge Employee for the year of 2024. I'm going to make her come up with me. I know she's probably a little reluctant to. Just a little background on Erin. Although she hasn't been with us long, it's just since September of 2022, she's made quite an impact, not only on the organization, but on the village as well. This nomination for her employee of the quarter that led to her being named employee of the year was made by multiple officers within the police department. And the common theme in those nominations was friendly, helpful, team-oriented, problem solver. That has been my experience with Erin since she came to us from Addison Police Department, where we were lucky enough to hire away with her, where we were able to hire her from. So I just want to say thank you, Erin, for all the hard work that you do, and congratulations. It's a very well-deserved honor. I know you probably don't want to say a few words, but the mic is all yours.
No, thank you very much. I just want to say thank you. It's an honor to work here. I'm blessed to work with a lot of wonderful people, and I think that was the hardest thing about leaving somewhere I worked for a very long time. I felt that that would be the toughest thing, and I am so grateful that I've met such wonderful people, and I have a wonderful team that I work with, and it gets better every day. So I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I am grateful again for this opportunity. Thank you.
If you would
for the
let
award.
us on. I know you probably don't want us to keep going on, but we need to do a little bit. On behalf of all of us and our community and your fellow colleagues throughout the village, thank you so much for all that you do and the spirit in which you do it.
Thank you.
Above and beyond, but also just how generous and kind and caring. We were sorry we didn't see you over the holidays because we wanted you to be there, but this is really wonderful to be able to recognize you tonight. And to say thank you. We're very grateful for having you here, and thank you for all your outstanding works, and congratulations from all of us. So
Very much. Thank you all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, Chief. We're going to pause now just for a moment to recognize any comments that have been received from the public that are not related to tonight's agenda that were received prior to tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. We did receive one from a Lydia Farragon, and all copies have been provided to the board in advance, and the comment will be entered into the official record. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Al. And now I'm going to ask if there's any members of our audience here this evening that would like to make a public comment on anything that is not related to tonight's agenda. If so, we would like to invite you up to the podium. Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on, seeing no one. Now I'm going to ask if there has been anything that has been received prior to tonight's meeting, any public comments that have been received regarding items that do appear on tonight's agenda.
Mayor, no written comments have been received.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to ask our audience again, if anyone would like to please address the village board by coming up to the podium, and this would be related to items that are on tonight's agenda. Okay, seeing no one, we will go ahead and move on. Thank you all for being here again. So tonight on our omnibus agenda, we will now move to asking for a motion, please, to approve items A through C and acceptance of D and E. A motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Krusek. A second? Second. Thank you, Trustee Kagan. Any discussion on this item? Okay. Going to ask if there's any discussion or any items that should be considered separately this evening. Okay, seeing none, we will go ahead and move on and ask our administrator, please, to review the items for all of us on the agenda. Omnibus.
Thank you, Mayor Cunningham. Members of the board, good evening. Item A, ordinance 2025-4, an ordinance authorizing the disposal of personal property owned by the Village of Woodridge. Item B, resolution 2025-16, a resolution authorizing the destruction of audio recordings of closed meetings. Item C is resolution 2025-17, a resolution making a determination relative to the release of executive session minutes pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, meeting the March 18th, 2010, April 15th, 2010, May 6th, 2010, March 22nd, 2012, September 3rd, 2013, September 5th, 2013, September 16th, 2013, October 1st, 2015, April 21st, 2016, December 1st, 2016, May 11th, 2017, May 16th, 2017, and finally May 17th, 2017. And then the last items D and E are prior meeting minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
Trustee Kagan,
Aye.
Trustee Angeles,
Aye.
Trustee Krusek,
Aye.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, everyone. Under communications, I do have a mayor's report this evening. Please join us. This is very important in our community for Woodridge Restaurant Week. And just come out and have fun and enjoy visiting maybe a new restaurant you haven't visited before right here in Woodridge. We're asking that our neighbors please do try to hit some restaurants over the week of Sunday, February 23rd to Saturday, March 1st. This is a great opportunity to get out and explore our local dining scene and really just have some fun. And I know that Jamie, who has planned a lot of great activities along with the trolley, I believe tickets are sold out, Jamie, for the trolley? Oh, one left. We have one ticket left. Okay. So if you don't have yours already and you're interested in going on the tour, the trolley tour on Saturday the 1st, please do check out the village website and sign up. I know there's only one spot. So anyway, if you go, you'll have a great time, I'm sure. Also want to let everyone know that our Woodridge Prologis scholarships, the deadline has been extended. This is for high school seniors that are going on to college. We have a really wonderful legacy scholarship program here in Woodridge. Please check out our village website for all the details. We've now extended it to Friday, March 14th. It is a wonderful scholarship program, and we hope that our high school seniors will take advantage of a great opportunity. And the Woodridge Public Library has a really, we're giving them a huge shout out here because they deserve it for all their great works. But they are showcasing a vibrant community art piece in honor of Black History Month. If you have not been, please go. It is absolutely incredible. The public library here in Woodridge is outstanding. They do great works. We invite you all. It is just really well done, and it is the African-American painter Charles McGee. It is outstanding. So I invite everyone to please join me in attending and visit our library often. It really is outstanding. And then Read Across America Day. So Woodridge School District 68 invites community members to celebrate Read Across America Day, which is Thursday, February 27th, so a week from today, by volunteering to read a book to our students in our school district. This is done every single year. And I know our village staff has been involved for quite a long time, along with our board members, and I thank them so much for this. It's a great experience. It makes all the difference connecting with our students, and it's a lot of fun. So please, if you're interested, do go on to either the school district's website for District 68, or you can get information on our website. So please do stay connected with us. Administrator Stonich, that is my report, and your report this evening?
Thank you, Mayor. First item A is the fourth quarter financial report for the fiscal year 2024, and your Finance Director, John Harrington, is here to present.
Good evening, John.
Good evening. So the fourth quarter report was in the packet. So I'm going to do a very general overview. If there's any questions, please let me know. For the numbers that are here, these are pre-audit numbers. So there will be some changes with the final draft with the annual village audit. And actually our auditors were in already and did their initial work, and they will be coming back in a number of weeks. The general fund revenue was $27.1 million. About $400,000 over budget and about $112,000 over last year. So on the breakout of the revenue, last year we had about $2 million of ARPA money. And then this year, some of the increases in revenue that offset last year's revenue would be sales tax, with the additional 50 basis points came in about $965,000 more this year than last year. And then transfer stamps are up about $170,000, licenses and permits about $270,000. And then transfers for the water sewer loan was about $280,000 that came into the general fund. Expenses were 25 million. And actually, we were just 88,000 different than last year. So that was pretty much spot on to what we've done in the past. Budget, we were about $861,000 under budget. And one of the main factors is unfilled positions that we've been, working to fill over the last year or so. So that was one of the main differences for the budget to actual. Water sewer funds, you'll notice in the bottom left, this will be we've split these funds, so you see zeros in that last year. So next year, when we do the quarterlies, we'll have an equal match between, the capital and the operating. Combined revenue for the water and sewer is about $12.1 million. Over about 148,000 over budget, and that was based on, just water sales and the number of sales sold. And then we were about 385,000 short compared to 2023. Now, we did have last year, we had $1 million transfer that we had as revenue coming from the general fund for some water main work. And then in 2024, we had water sales, which were up about 800,000. That was the 19-cent increase in the DuPage Water Commission rate, and then 15% in the village rate that brought in those additional revenues. And then in the capital improvement fee, we had an increase of about 300,000, and we had increased the capital improvement fee 30 cents per 1,000 gallons. On the expense side, we were about $3.2 million under budget. And again, we had on the compared to actual, we were about 1.43 million difference. And again, we had capital jobs were about 2.5 less than 2023. And then we had operating expenses, and that part of that went up by about 1.1 million. Keep in mind that in that 1.1 million is actually the purchasing of water. So it does tie into the gallons used. The biggest project that we completed in 2024 was the Crabtree Sanitary for about $2.3 million, and then a couple other projects we worked on. Capital fund, you'll see that the revenue was pretty much consistent with both the budget and last year. In 2024, the expenses for the capital fund were debt service for about 2.4 million, and then actual capital work for $1.9 million. In the prior year, in 2023, we had the police building residual costs that ran through the financial statements. Here's a summary of the other funds, and there's really nothing particularly noteworthy. They're all pretty consistent with prior years. The debt service fund, is consistent with money coming in for debt service coming out. And then cash and investments, we're looking at an investment rate of return for about 4.47%, which is the highest the village has had weighted. The rates have started to come down. So we are not getting as high rates, but we're still getting the weighted average being well over 4%. You can see that we're split between CDs, money markets, Illinois funds, and agencies. And we have duration-wise, we're pretty well balanced between 0 and 3 years. So that's the really quick version. I can happy to answer any questions. If not, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director Harrington. I'm going to open it up to the village board. Any questions at this time?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, please, Trustee
a
Krusek.
couple of questions on the increase in the home rule sales tax.
Yes.
Is just that portion of it where we expected it to be in the first basically 6 months?
Sales tax has actually been a little stronger. So it's where we thought it would be, but actually sales tax continues to be pretty strong.
Okay, and on online sales, how is it determined whether or not, because I know not everybody has to pay sales tax if they're an online seller, it's based on their total sales in the state, correct? So how is it determined if the people that are supposed to be charging sales tax are including that home rule tax?
We get just a line item from the Department of Revenue from our sales tax report. So it lists out basically the online. So we don't really, that's a good question. I can follow up with the Department of Revenue to see kind of how they monitor it and regulate it, but I don't have a specific answer to that. Yeah.
Okay. And can you go back a slide or
course.
two? Because now I have to remember my other question.
General fund?
go back one more. I'm sorry, go back. I think it's in the water fund.
Okay.
Um, how are we? I know it says primarily related to the timing of projects. Our expenditures are a lot lower than budget.
Mhm.
Are those going to, where are we as far as going into 2024? How many of those will we catch up on? And that might be more for Director Bethel.
Yeah, I don't know if, Chris, do you have any?
So at the March 6th meeting, we'll be bringing forward the bid results for the 75th Street lift station and the altitude valve at Village Greens. The low bid was about $1.3 million on that project. And then we'll also be bringing forward the emergency well rehab for the 3 backup wells we have, which the low bid was just under $500,000 on that project. And then as soon as those 2 start rolling, we've already talked to Christopher Burke about proposals as it relates to design on the next water main replacement, as well as starting to look at the force mains underneath the 355.
Okay, thank you. And final question, and again, this might be more for Director Bethel. How have we been on water main breaks this winter?
Don't drive down Wainwright right now, and we're doing okay. It's actually, and I'm sure everybody saw what had happened in one of the North Shore communities in terms of kind of what can happen during this terrible weather. It's been, I would say, average to below average year so far, so really not anything unusual.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Krusek. Anyone else, please? Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Director Harrington.
Director Harrington is going to stay up here because the next 3 items are under his purview. Item B, Resolution 2025-19 is a resolution to adopt an updated debt management policy for the Village of Woodridge.
All right, so this is one of 3 policies on the agenda tonight. I basically did slides showing the differences from the prior policy to the current. The first thing is the purpose statement. We kind of just cleaned it up, and it just basically summarizes kind of the village's philosophy as it comes to debt, and that we are going to obtain financing when needed and just some certain goals of ours. Also, we're going to make sure we follow the laws, including laws with the SEC. The guiding principles, we did add the last one on this list, which is determine the debt maturity schedule, which will best fit with the overall debt structure of the village. And that just makes sure that whatever we do, kind of makes sense with our overall debt payments being made moving forward. Debt capacity, we had Spear Financial do a review of our policy prior to presenting it tonight. And this is an item where they suggested that we should add this policy as part of the debt management policy. And basically, as a home rule community, we have pretty much unlimited ability to take out debt. And what this debt capacity statement says, hey, we're going to limit what we can do based on some parameters. So for the GO obligation capacity, it's 2.875% of equalized assessed value. So if you look at our 2023 EAV, which is about $1.5 billion, it basically says that we should maximize debt at $42,500,000, or we're kind of self-imposing that maximum. And obviously we are well under that number at this point. And then on the bottom part of it is, hey, when you're making debt service payments, they kind of want to see a ratio that is not less than 1-to-1. So looking at our debt service payments for 2025 compared to our capital improvement fee revenue, we're at 1.9, which is over that 1.1. And then if we projected potential debt for the new public works building, that would bring us about 1.3, which would mean we would still be over the 1.1. So it just gives us a little bit. The suggestion was debt rating agencies kind of like to see something in here as kind of guardrails, for lack of a better term. Debt structuring update, again, it talks about, looking at debt compared to where our finances are and where the economics are. So this just kind of gives a quick summary there. And then we added a section for professional services, and these are professionals we typically use whenever we do debt service. So financial advisor, we work with Spear Financial, and we've worked with them on a number of deals, and they're there to kind of walk us through the process and make sure we get everything done correctly. Bond counsel, we need an opinion from the bond counsel for any debt service that we do. The underwriters, if it's a negotiated sale, we would utilize an underwriter. And then the fiscal agents there for the making sure that we file our annual debt service, make the payments, and they kind of track those payments. And then at the end, there is a list of basically a glossary of terms. So we kind of went through and we added a handful more terms just to kind of expand for things that maybe not everyone understands when it comes to debt service. So what a basis point in the description of a financial advisor. We added TIF bonds or tax increment bonds because that's something we are maybe looking at in the near future. And it just adds to the other definitions that are in there. So those are all the items that we added to the debt management. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions at this time from my fellow board members? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So we have before us resolution 2025-19. Please, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve resolution 2025-19. Motion, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, trustee Martinez. Second. Thank you, trustee Kagan. Any discussion on this item? If our deputy clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Kagan.
Aye.
Trustee Angeles.
Aye.
Trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Blair.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, item C, Resolution 2025-20, a resolution to adopt an updated capital asset policy for the Village of Woodridge.
All right, we'll kind of follow the same pattern we did last time. We did, again, do an updated purpose, just kind of talking about what our responsibility is as a village when it comes to capitalizing assets. What we did do is updated the capitalization threshold. The prior policy had a laundry list of different types of structures. We really condensed it down because there was some overlap and a lot of them had the same cost anyways. So we kind of scrunched it down just to the main types. One change we did do is we did increase vehicles from 50,000 to 100,000, and we did increase equipment from 50,000 to 75. We have seen a dramatic increase in vehicles. We still track all of our vehicles in our vehicle equipment replacement fund. So we are still monitoring, managing them. Nothing of that's changed. It's just the dollar amount and the additions have grown. And we aren't tracking really a lot of vehicles due to the threshold now. And we really weren't looking to add a bunch of vehicles onto the capital asset plan. So we update the threshold. Asset classes, similar. We had a laundry list of different asset classes. And again, we kind of just condensed them down for various ranges, for various types of improvements. And then we add substantially to the construction in progress that basically we would add to it. And that's kind of like for the large police building, it's not 100% done, but it's mainly done. And it's drawing that when we're to the point where we're in the building, we're using the building. And even though there's some things hanging out there, we want to be able to capitalize that because sitting as construction in progress probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense when we're actually in the building and using it. And there's all the comments on the capital asset, if there's any questions.
Any questions at this time? Thank you. So we have before us resolution 2025-20. Going to ask please for a motion to approve that resolution 2025-20. Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Page. A second. Thank you, trustee Angeles. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, if our deputy clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Angeles.
Aye.
Trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Blair.
Aye.
Trustee Kagan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, item D, Resolution 2025-21. This is a resolution to adopt an updated budget policy for the Village of Woodridge.
Okay, so again, we updated the purpose statement that kind of just summarizes the importance of a budget policy and kind of the different kind of device that it is, whether it's a communications or a financial plan or a policy statement. The balanced budget update really kind of talks the philosophy of when we do any kind of budgeting. And really the main push of this comment is that the village, their current revenue should, or the budgeted revenues should cover budgeted expenses. And what it says here, it says, recurring expenses pay for recurring revenue pays for recurring expense. And then when we have non-recurring items, they shouldn't be used revenue-wise to pay for operating. And we typically do that now. The really good example was when we received ARPA funds. When we got those grant funds in, the village didn't need those funds to cover expenses. So they stayed in the general fund, and we've used those funds. We did $1 million for the water main, and we did something else for some road construction, and we have that $3 million remaining. That's a non-recurring revenue that we're looking for other things to do outside of our reoccurring expense. What this also kind of states to the policy is if we do have a situation where revenues are not covering expenses, basically staff has to let everyone know in a budget transmittal of what's happening and why we've fallen below, and also letting the board know that what's our plan to correct that in the future. This also ties in with the village's fund balance policy. We cleaned up the budget calendar based on, we've added new software this year, so some of the timing we moved around a little bit. From the version you saw, we did review under June, we removed in ClearGov, specifying a specific software. A suggestion was made, we should keep out names of software because if we change or anything happens with it, we'd have to come back just for that. So we took out in ClearGov just that capital requests are due in June. And that's really all in on the budget policy. Everything else was pretty consistent with the one we approved before.
Thank you again. Going to open it up for questions. Anyone have any questions at this time? Thank you again, Director.
Thank you.
Harrington. Appreciate it. So we do have a resolution before us, Resolution 2025-21. Going to ask for a motion to approve that resolution. A motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Krusek. A second? Thank you, Trustee Anteles. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, if our Deputy Clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Krusek,
Aye.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
Trustee Kagan. Trustee Anteles.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Last item this evening, item E, Resolution 2025-18, is a resolution authorizing the mayor and clerk to enter into a license agreement for the use of the village's right-of-way with Metro FiberNet LLC. And should the board have any questions, we welcome representatives of MetroNet here in the audience tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have before us Resolution 2025-18. Going to ask for a motion to approve that resolution. A motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Krusek. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Anteles. Any discussion on this item? If our Deputy Clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Page,
Abstain.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Blair,
Aye.
Trustee Kagan,
Aye.
Trustee Anteles.
Aye.
Trustee Krusek.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone, very much. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for all the good works from our finance department, along with our entire village. But thank you very much for the outstanding work. We have no further active agenda items, no unfinished business or any other new business coming before the board this evening. With no further business to discuss this evening, we do have the need for an executive session immediately following our adjournment. The purpose of the executive session is to review and discuss pending, probable, or imminent litigation and the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body. This time I'm going to ask, please, for a motion to adjourn our regular board meeting of the village board. A motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Krusek. A second? Second. Thank you, Trustee Anteles. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. It is 7:39 p.m. and we are adjourned from our regular business meeting. Thank you very much for being in attendance this evening.